Boom shakalaka, what is going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love, and today we have an episode. A lot of people have been talking, asking, questioning when to buy Bitcoin. And no, this isn't financial advice. No, I'm not telling you what to do. Obviously, do your own research, but this is my opinion. So I'll share with you my opinion about when to buy Bitcoin, when people might be interested in buying it. Before we get into that stuff, guys, today, pretty lightly red day. Okay, everything down a little bit. I didn't even pull up CoinMarketCap, but I'll take a look at that in a minute. Before we do, just a word from our sponsor. Alright guys, you can check out the Monarch wallet at monarchtoken.io, download it on the Android or App Store. 1,800 cryptos on there, so there's a lot. Now, actually we'll start with CoinMarketCap. I totally didn't even do that. So, CoinMarketCap today, look at this, mostly in the red. Pretty much everything in the red. Bitcoin right now at 38.46, Ethereum at 132, XRP at 31 cents, and EOS at 356. I mean, look at how close some of these things are. The top 10 is always changing. Big gains, Ravencoin. You guys know, you asked me like last week what were my 4 favorite. Ravencoin was one of them. That was back 100% ago. Already doubled since last week and may keep going, but it'll probably come back down over time. Obviously, don't FOMO in. If you do want to FOMO into stuff like that, use a trailing stop loss, something like 3 commas. There's a link down in the description. You can check that out. Set up trailing stop losses. Also, Purge is up, so apparently there must be some really good like Pornhub things because you can get your Pornhub subscription with Verge, so that's why people would do that. Now, talking about what we're going to talk about today. Right now, new data is showing that Bitcoin accumulation is in full swing. That means people are buying Bitcoin because the price is cheaper than $20,000. Kind of makes sense, but they show down here in this graph, despite the bubble burst, Bitcoin holdings in these addresses, and these addresses are the ones that hold 1 to 10 Bitcoin, increased by 5% since Bitcoin's peak, even though this says 6%. I'm guessing it's like 5 point something percent. Since January 2017 to date, the most popular band of addresses holding have seen an increase of 38% with an average of 35% increase on year since 2015. So, people are buying Bitcoin. People are accumulating more Bitcoin. Kind of makes sense too because the price is low, but everybody wants to get the rock bottom dollar. Everybody wants to get the lowest of the low, the 2,000, 15, the 1,000, who knows, the 2,500, wherever Bitcoin is going, that's what people want to do. And that's what I kind of took a look at for you a little bit. There is some good news on the horizon, though. I mean, we've had a terrible 6 months. Just the other day, the end of February, Bitcoin ended its biggest monthly losing streak in its history. If you look at that right up here, 6 months in a row, losing months. Yikes. Finally had a green candle, teeny little green candle, but kind of ending the swinging things. And recently we have been talking about a lot of good news. But if you saw my video, the previous video and the one before that, things aren't looking exactly ideal for Bitcoin just yet. We're not exactly like out of the woods. Could potentially still go down further. And there's a few reasons for that. I'll go into them. First, I mean, MACD. You guys know I like MACD trading. Guess what? MACD says put in a stable coin right now. I trust MACD. You can 69x your money in 2 years. That means if you start with $15,000 now and do that, you could have $1 million in 2 years. Not financial advice, obviously. Do your own research, but I mean, back testing it, that's what happens. Also, it's suspected that we're in kind of like a Elliott wave right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a 5 wave that's a down wave coming up. So we're there, but right now we're sitting right on this yellow line, which is the 50 EMA. However, you can kind of see a little bit of a wedge forming, and it's going to break up or down. Which way, we don't know. I would assume, based on a lot of things, potentially down. May go a little bit up first, but down, because one of the big things is, I showed you in a video a couple days ago, the Bitcoin shorts are at an all-time low. Every time they're at an all-time low, I put an arrow on the chart, and you can see these arrows directly precede a drop, a plummet in Bitcoin price. And guess what? We have an arrow right now. So potentially, following this red line there, we might see a drop in Bitcoin price. Where to? Well, I would say probably the most likely spot would be retesting this low right here, right around 34.60 something, right around 3,500 bucks. If we break through there, maybe headed down lower. So is that the place to buy? Well, potentially. I mean, it's nicer to buy there than at 3,800, right? But that's not what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you to wait until it's a certain price and then buy a whole Bitcoin, because that's just silly. That's silly because you're just gambling. And obviously, we're all a bunch of gamblers in crypto. But mathematically, I'm a mathematical logical person. The best way to buy at the cheapest prices is to do dollar cost averaging. Now, if you've heard this before and you're not doing it, you're being silly. However, like I said, not financial advice, not telling you what to do. So dollar cost averaging, you put in a fixed dollar amount on a regular basis every week, every month, every couple months. Best days to do it are Wednesday and Friday. Friday is actually the best day. Wednesday is the second best day. You can read this whole article on a Bitcoin pub. You can check it all out there. And if you don't like reading, you could just watch a video. I made a whole video about it back in the day. You can find out how to do that, because guess what? That will allow you to get Bitcoin at the cheapest prices. You don't have to try and throw a dart at the board and pick out where it's going to be. Now, I mean, you could do some simple stuff like just look at these other areas where it might fall to. Yeah, 32.85. That's another area where it may fall to. You could do some Fibonacci retracements. You could do all this technical analysis, or you could just kind of do the simple, easy thing that I do, not financial advice, and dollar cost average, because that way when it's cheaper, you buy more. When it's more expensive, you buy less. And you set it, forget it. It's like Ron Popeil's rotisserie gold time cook showtime oven. Set and forget it, and you're done. So, all of that stuff. And it's crazy. It's crazy. There's so much good news coming out. I looked through the news. There's a whole bunch of news about like Tron and Ripple and all this stuff, but it wasn't really like cool. This here could potentially be pretty cool. Major U.S. retailer ditches Visa, now considering Bitcoin's Lightning Network. That's right. Smith's, which is actually owned by Kroger, retail giant, their chain of Smith's food and drug stores is no longer accepting Visa because of exorbitant charges. And guess what? On the old Twitter, they were talking about how they're not going to be doing that anymore. And basically, Nick is going to connect them with the project manager at Kroger Digital to strike up a conversation about using the Lightning Network there. That would be awesome implementation of Bitcoin. Could you imagine people using Bitcoin at the supermarket? So that's great news. I think that's great news. More great news we're seeing recently. Still, price isn't going up. Eventually it'll catch up, but there could be a further dip in price before it does come back up. So guys, that's it for the video today. Just wanted to make it short and sweet. I hope you all have an absolutely awesome rest of the weekend, a good beginning of the work week. Guys, I trade with Signal Profits. I like using it for trading. You can make like 25% in 4 days. And especially with 3 commas, you use them both together. You kind of set it and forget it. Not as simple as dollar cost averaging, requires like daily stuff. But yeah, 10% in a couple days, 13% in a few hours. So you can make a lot there. Also check out the Monarch wallet. And that is all for today. I will catch you guys in the next video. Cool. Have a good one. Peace.